Now, to bring the first half of the program to a riotous conclusion in this canteen, we have someone for whom we're always being asked wherever we go, and who's always sure of a loud and overwhelming reception. He's recently been conquering fresh fields with a magnificent performance in the film The Captive Heart, and although he now travels by car, and there's really no need for anyone to mind his bike, it's still that same grand person, Jack Warner.
Much, boys and girls and one and all. Well, you've all heard about my brother Sid, so without any more ado, as they say, I'd like to tell you the latest story about him. It's a story straight from the heart of London, and it's called Nelson's Column. Now, you've heard of the chap who climbed up Nelson's Column and about the repairs that he did, but nobody said why he had to go up there. And who caused it? Well, my brother Sid. It appears that my brother had started at night school, where he said he was learning to climb. But the teacher said, Sid, it's too easy for you, because you're half up the pole all the time. Well, Sid found it so easy to go up the pole that he practiced and climbed things much higher. He once climbed so high he came down with a harp. It was either a harp or a lyre, anyway. Well, one day as he glanced through the Steeplejack's journal, he saw a small ad that said, Stop. What I want is a man who will start from the bottom and work his way up to the top. Well, Sid got the job, and the boss said, Now, look, you go to Trafalgar Square and look for a column that's stuck up there somewhere and see if old Nelson's still there. But Sidney said, Where shall I find a long ladder? The boss replied, That's quite enough. A good steeplejack doesn't talk about ladders. Put spikes in your boots and get tough. Well, an hour or two later, he got to the top and he found he could see Southend Pier. And he frightened 9 pigeons off Lord Nelson's hat and found a bad egg in his ear. He remembered the orders to check up and see that the statue had come to no harm when he cried, Oh, my goodness, there's only one eye. And good gracious, there's only one arm. Oh, yeah. So he fetched out a hammer and chisel he'd brought, and he said, Well, I'll do what I can with a bit knocked off here and a bit stuck on there. When I've finished, you'll be a new man. Well, he came down next day and explained what he'd done, and he said, Though I feel a bit tired, I should think that they'll give me a medal for this. The boss said, You've had it. You're fired. So if you see a chap climbing the column today, I feel I just ought to explain that he's really gone up there to break off an arm and poke Nelson's eye out again. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much. Well, it's nice to be out of the old battle dress, and now I'm back in civvies again. I'd like to tell you a few more peacetime funny occupations. Thank you very much, George. Now, since I'm back in Civvy Street, I've met a lot of men who are also in the forces. Now they're back at work again. Some told me of the jobs they'd got, but the strangest one, I'll wager, is the one I've heard that's been conferred on our old Sergeant Major. He's Auntie Winnie in the Woman's Tuppenny Weekly. He's the lady with the understanding heart. And the Sergeant's Auntie Winnie reads a sad appeal from Minnie for advice about her romance torn apart. So he gazes at his size 11 slippers, drinks a tot of rum, then sends her this reply. I will help you, never fear, with men do just as I do, dear. Be kind and gentle and perhaps a little shy. The old sergeant, mind you, it's silly. I bet he wasn't. Now, I went to get my shoes back from a funny little shop where 2 old cobblers sit and work and never stop. They say their work is dangerous, although they're very keen. When I said to one, Why dangerous? He said, This is what I mean. I'm a tapper in a tin tack in a shoe shop. I'm a tin tack tapper inner from the south. And I have to earn me supper, so I'm tacking on an upper. And I'm holding all the tin tacks in the mouth. And all day you'll see me sitting in the window with a hammer hitting tin tacks on the knob. And if I miss, I mustn't holler, or a load of tacks I'll swallow. So that's the danger of a tin tack tapper's job, you see what I mean? Now, there's a fella down our street who's like an artist in a way, and his hands get stained with yellow, green, and red paint every day. And all day long with brushes he puts colour in a job which keeps him very busy earning many an honest bob. 'Cause he's a painter on stripes on sticky humbugs. He's a sticky humbug striper, that's his trade. As they pass along the benches from confectionery wenches, he paints on stripes that aren't supposed to fade. But what's the use of painting silly stripes on? With this, I'm sure you'll everyone agree that the nippers like to try 'em, so they nip in shops and buy 'em, and they swipe the stripes by sucking them, do you see? You like that? Oh, it's silly. Now, although the war's been over just a year ago last May, there's quite a lot of buildings that are eyesores, as they say. Well, a pal of mine has got a job that really is a treat. You can see him working hard where there are shelters in the street. Yeah, he's a shoveler-up of shattered shambles shelters. He's a shattered shelter shoveler-up, and yet when he sees those cracks and fissures, he comes over all ambitious for another little job he'd like to get. And it's a well-paid job that calls for lots of courage, for to enter those dark shelters takes some pluck. And before he starts the bashing, he warns courting couples mashing, 'cause he don't like damaged lovers on his trial. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, boys and girls. And now, on this special Workers' Playtime, I'd like to pay a tribute to all you boys and girls in the factories all over the British Isles by singing my word of thanks to you all in a brand new song called Thanks, Workers. And thanks, George. Here we go. We've sung about the soldiers and the sailors on the sea. We've sung about the airmen in their fight for liberty. We've talked about our gallant men, so proudly do they boast. So now let's give a toast. Thanks, workers, for all you have done. Thanks, workers, you gave up your fun. Thanks to you we won the war, and to you we're grateful for just tackling a job that was tough and still kept smiling through. Oh, the men were quite astonished to see pretty girls appear in dungarees that would have filled their grandmamas with fear. And we must admit that was enough to put them out of gear. But the world says thanks to you. Yes, thanks, workers, for joining the fray. Thanks, workers, you toil night and day. Your machines just rolled along while you worked and sang a song. Tired, weary, you carried on. You had a job to do. And everybody knows that you put up a marvellous show. You all palled up together in the friendly gang we know. Though I bet you told the foreman many times where he could go. But the world says thanks to you. Yes, we thousands will be grateful too now that the world is free. Those gallant men on land and in the air and on the sea. But we say God bless the workers for their part in history. And the world says thanks to you.